This is Eddie Silva for the St. Louis Symphony blog. I think you'll know this tune. Orli Shaham, thank you for being on the St. Louis Symphony blog.
It's my pleasure.
You're playing Rhapsody. We just heard a little bit of that when I was out in the auditorium a little while ago. Rhapsody is one of those things that we've probably had in our heads since we were 6 years old. How do you get all of the Rhapsody and blues from Woody Allen movies and airline ads out of your head so you can play the thing?
It really helps that St. Louis is not a United Airlines market. Now, for those of you in St. Louis who don't fly United, the Rhapsody in Blue is their theme song, right? You can't get on a United flight without hearing little chopped up bits of the Rhapsody in Blue. So it actually was very nice flying in, on an American Airlines flight and listening to the Rhapsody in Blue, and I was able to kind of, purify it from what happens to it. But it's true, this piece, it's a piece everybody knows, everybody's heard it, you all know all the different themes and you know where they come from, but how it holds together as a whole is not always in our heads. And that's what I think is so cool about it. And one of the ways that I try to get back to Gershwin's original sound is, thank goodness for the internet. Check out YouTube, Gershwin playing the piano rolls of this.
Wow.
And it's very, very different from what we've had in our musical experience on the classical stage in the last 50, 60 years. And somehow getting that as well as what we all have in our heads together out of the music is what I hope to achieve.
Well, and speaking of classical music, does one need some jazz training to play Gershwin, play Rhapsody?
There's the story that Gershwin went to France, and he tried to study with Nadia Boulanger, and he tried to study with Ravel, and they all sort of basically thought that his natural jazz style was so good that if he had some classical training, it would wreck it. So they didn't want to teach him. So there's some level on which, you should approach this from a jazz perspective. That's where it comes from. At the same time, he's clearly writing in a classical way, and he's integrating a lot of classical ideas. That's clearly where his compositional head was going. So I think you certainly would benefit from jazz training, but you would also benefit from classical training. Somewhere in the middle lies the answer. And I think it's a balance that we as musicians have been trying to get for a long time. And I have a really good little visual example, since this is a video blog.
Yeah.
I brought along my 2 piano scores of the Rhapsody in Blue. This is the score that I had when I first bought this music probably 25 years ago. Check out the very serious, very classical layout.
Yes.
And the exact same score, I'm not kidding, all the notes are in the same places, all the page numbers are in the same places, today looks like this.
Aha.
So here we've gone clearly back to Gershwin's more jazz roots, the New York City thing, the Tin Pan Alley thing. There's, even in the additions, there's a real cultural question mark. Where do you put Gershwin? And really, he belongs rightly anywhere you want to put him. He's such a great composer. He goes in either of the categories beautifully well.
Just say something wonderful about this piece.
This piece is so lyrical. It's so beautiful. It's so rich, and it just shines at every turn. No wonder it's become such a part of our culture. Can you imagine if Gershwin had lived into his 60s, his 70s, the kind of music he would have been writing at that time? The guy was really a genius, and I'm having a great time playing it this week.
Thank you, Orli.
Thanks.
And we'll see you Friday and Sunday, October 1 and 3 at Powell Hall.
See you there.